Alright, 3 left. Another big one. Chone of the Decade.
Chone of the Decade.
Chone of the Decade.
Okay, so do we have any nominees for Chone of the Decade?
Not quite nominees, but I guess somebody who I would consider to be a runner-up. Do
you want to mention him now or after?
Yeah, I'm not splitting the award.
Okay.
Because the Chone of the Decade really was the Chone of the Decade, and it would be terrible to dilute the award. But I will tell you that this person's latest effort, had it come out in the past decade, there'd be no question in my mind he would be winning Chone of the Decade. But it's not right to usurp the rightful Chone of the Decade because of the crimes the other guy made in this decade.
Okay, who's the runner-up?
The runner-up is Michael Bay.
Okay.
The guy behind all sorts of horrible shit like Transformers, blah, 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 blah. The guy behind Platinum Dunes, the company that have just been raping and pillaging and defiling some of the greatest horror films ever made with a slew of despicable remakes that are collectively crimes of the imagination. And had his Nightmare on Elm Street debacle took place in the last decade, no question, he'd win the award. But he squeaks out of the firing zone because of a calendar discrepancy.
A calendar discrepancy, and we've got another defiler, presumably, as the winner here. So should we get on with it?
Let's get right to the results.
Okay. The first annual GLAZBALL Award for Chone of the Decade is... Ooh, George Lucas.
George Lucas. Is there anybody else more deserving of this award? All he achieved, I mean, unfortunately, it would have been beautiful if all of the prequels would have taken place in the last decade, but the first one actually snuck in at the end of the 90s, but that doesn't change anything. I mean, Attack of the Chones alone would have guaranteed this guy Chone of the Decade award. The fact that that's combined with, what was the third one?
It doesn't matter.
Does it matter? Like
no. What was it called? What was it called? The
Return of the Jedi? No. Revenge of the Sith? Is that right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Whatever. The fact that it was combined with that piece of shit, that's just adding insult to injury or whatever. It's the cherry on the top of the ice cream sundae.
The final insult.
There is nobody more deserving of Chone of the Decade. This is a guy who, in the 70s, created one of the most incredible experiences in cinema history. The story behind Star Wars is phenomenal. It's a work of inspiration, and it was a valiant battle he fought to bring to life a vision that nobody believed in, and he had to fight elements, the weather, the location, a snobby British crew, a lack of financing, special effects problems. All the way down the line, he ended up in hospital, but he brought it all back, put Star Wars up on the big screen with that John Williams score, one of the most beautiful, operatic, majestic experiences in cinema. It created entire childhoods, launched a whole new generation of film fans and filmmakers. His legacy is monumental. The series is iconic.
And then 20 years later,
to defile his own legacy, his own mythology, to the level that he did with those prequels is a crime against cinema.
And I have to add that he wasn't satisfied in defiling one great cinematic corpse, Star Wars. He also had that tie on another one by flushing Indiana Jones down the toilet as well.
Oh, that's right, yeah. And I guess that technically snuck in at the end of the decade. Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. That's what I mean. Attack of the Chones on its own would have got him the award. You know how we split the award for Cinephobia between Michael Moore and Tarantino? I'm actually going to split the award for Chone of the Decade. The first half's going to go to George Lucas. The second half is going to go to George Lucas. He's such a Chone, he needs 2 fucking awards to prove it. Congratulations, George Lucas.